Did you guys know that Conor McGregor and Arturo already had a fight? I can't believe my fucking eyes. Oh, sack. Why do these lights look bright to you? These lights seem a little more bright today than normal. Welcome to the DynamiteGizmo Podcast, everyone. Episode 287. Do these lights seem bright to you? Why are they so bright? Here's today's card. It's tradition around here to show you the card, but it's not tradition to show you what's on the card, but you'll find out anyway because we'll talk about it. And there isn't a card today. Whoops! There isn't a card today. Because there's no UFC this weekend. What did I say? I said there's no UFC this weekend. That's very unfortunate. Oh, that's very unfortunate. But at least it's not 6 weeks of bullshit. Remember that? Remember when we had to sit through 6 weeks of not an ounce?
Peppa Pig, chocolate Peppa Pig.
Anyway, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to have 2 segments today, and then we're going to talk about a bunch of news that's going on. All right? We do have, even though we don't have UFC this weekend, we do have a karate combat match this Friday, free on YouTube. And guess who's featured on the main card? Walter Walker versus the man with no legs. I forget his name. And also, Winged C is on this card. What? Winged C, you heard it correctly, folks. Winged C is fighting in karate combat. Who is Winged C, you may ask? Where the fuck have you been the last year and a half? And also, at the end of this episode, and for the next 6 episodes in a row, I have some UFC Chronicles 2022 edition trading cards to unpackage. There are 6 packs in this box, 7 cards per pack. And at the end of each episode for the next 6 episodes in a row, I will be opening one of said 6 packages. And we will do a card reveal live on the DynamiteGizmo Shitcast. I should have set up the second camera ready to go. I didn't even fucking think about that. I bet I could. I'm looking at it. I'm smelling stuff. I'll have to set it up next time. Ah, fuck. Why didn't I fucking think about that? Fuck. Next time I'll set it up. Next episode I'll set it up. Okay? Don't be upset. Everything's going to be okay, little boy. Gosh, I wish there was a UFC this weekend. But it's okay. We can take a break. We had 6 weeks of nothing. You know, what's another week? Okay, because next week we got a very nice card. Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez. And you know what? Leading up to just Monday, I believe, I was under the impression that it was happening this weekend. I thought, oh, Sean Strickland's fighting this weekend. Great. I was ready to go. I prepared. And guess what? It's not till next weekend. But that's okay. That's okay, ladies and gentlemen. Things happen sometimes. We're going to start off the episode by talking about the heavyweight division in the UFC and how fucking trash it is. The heavyweight division is absolutely cooked. Are you listening to me? Do you believe me? Do you agree with me? Well, you better, because it's fucking true. And I don't just mean because of the last two Jailton Almeida performances. I mean overall. As a division, heavyweight is in a really bad place right now. And it's not even up for debate. For a while there, we had two guys who could actually bring attention to not just the division, but the sport as a whole. Jonathan Boner Jones and Tom Aspinall. Those were the guys. Those were the names that mattered. But John's out, and Aspinall is out. And at this point, we don't even know for how long Aspinall will be out. And based on how things are looking now, he could be out a lot longer than originally expected because he still has to recover from his eye surgeries. Now, according to Ruben, you know Ruben, from the old internet. Let me pull it up here. Ruben Carter. You may have seen his fucking news articles online, his little news posts. He says Tom Aspinall will undergo eye surgery next week, which he has already done, which will potentially leave him sidelined for up to 8 months. 8 months! 8 months, my guy. Which is horrendous. And honestly, that lines up perfectly with why I think the UFC is going to strip him of the title. And I'm still not fully convinced they're bringing John Jones back for the White House card either. At this point, though, I'm almost 100% sure Alex Pereira is going to fight for the vacant heavyweight title. I just don't know who it'll be against. If I had to guess, though, it's probably going to be Cyril Gane for the 5th, 6th, 7th, however fucking many times he's had to do it. Which sounds insane, but also wouldn't be out of character at all for the UFC to do some stupid shit like that. But let's zoom out for a second and just talk about the heavyweight division as a whole. Because we're getting stinkier. We're getting stinker after stinker, dude. Every fucking heavyweight fight that we've had in the past fucking 5 months have sucked ass. We already saw Almeida versus Volkov back in October. And that fight alone caused fans to absolutely rip Almeida to shreds because of how boring it was. Then we get Derek Lewis versus Waldo. Another boring-ass snooze fest. And Derek Lewis, by the way, is another heavyweight who was always a draw, not just for the division, but for the sport itself. And once again, what do we get? Another stinker. These guys are big. They're out of shape. And you can't even blame it on age anymore. Because look at Taliesin. He is, or at least was, a 26-year-old up-and-comer prospect who people thought was going to make serious waves in the division. And he goes out there against Tai Tuivasa, who's now on a 6-fight losing streak, and both guys are completely exhausted after round 1. Hands on hips, barely holding it together. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Then Almeida comes back this past weekend against Makhaev, who was supposed to be another guy injected into the division to make things more exciting. And once again, we get nothing. Absolute trash. Makhaev presses Almeida against the cage for basically the entirety of the 3 rounds, which is ironic because it's not much different than what Almeida did to Volkov back in October. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. Disappointing heavyweight fighters who are fat and slow and sloppy. So let's look at the rankings. We've got Aspinall, Gane, Volkov, Pavlovich, Blades, Cortez Acosta. Okay. Fair enough, okay? decent top 5, but outside of Aspinall, none of these guys have really blown our socks off. Maybe Cortez Acosta recently, but that's about it. Then you go farther down, and you've got Almeida, Spivak, Tybura, Lewis, D'Elia, Teixeira, Gaziev, Parkin, Walker, Tuivasa. Sure, there are some recognizable names there, but come on. The only two guys I genuinely think can bring hype and skill moving forward right now in those names are Walter Walker and Ante D'Elia, assuming they get back on track and continue to move up. New York Rick from the Ariel Helwani Show made a great point recently, as he always, usually does, about how the rankings are complete horse shit and essentially meaningless. They exist purely for the debate of the numbers themselves. The numbers don't actually matter when it comes to matchmaking. And that's absolutely true. If matchmaking was based off rankings alone, guys like Movsar, Sarukian, Murphy, and others would have already fought for titles, or at least been booked for them. But the UFC doesn't care. They book what they think will sell, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you want to run things, cool. But then remove the rankings altogether if you're not going to utilize them. Because as they stand right now, and as they have for a long time, we don't even know how the numbers are truly determined. Yeah, generally if one number beats another number, they swap spots, or at least the person who beat them takes over that spot most of the time. But then you've got guys moving up without fighting for over a year, so what exactly is going on? And this brings me back to the bigger question. What is wrong with the heavyweight division? Are these guys just not caring anymore? It's literally the only division where fighters are consistently fat, slow, visibly out of shape, and exhausted early in fights. And that's happening almost 100% of the time. Every time we bring in a new potential contender who looks like they might bring some fire to heavyweight, the hype train immediately derails. Either something unexpected happens, or we realize they're just not as good as we thought. Walter Walker is exciting. He's the heel hook king. Hilarious on the mic. Ante D'Elia is Aspinall's training partner. He had the win, then didn't against Waldo, after coming off that great debut against Tybura. Skill-wise, he can absolutely excel. And then there's Aspinall. But he's more than likely going to get stripped, and we're not going to see him until probably October this year. Which is why we need Alex Pereira in there. He's the biggest star. It doesn't matter who you put him against. He'll be knocking guys out left and right. Nobody will care about the opponent. It'll be about Alex. Him claiming the first ever third UFC title in history. Something no one has ever done. Doing it at 37 years of age. Still starching top-level heavyweights. That would be an iconic moment for UFC history. And we also need Gable Steveson in the mix. Get him into the UFC. I'm extremely hopeful that it happens, especially with John Jones backing him 100%. It's taking time, but I do think the day will come. But as things stand right now, heavyweight is a massive snooze fest. There is nothing about it that excites me. There is potential in the future, but right now, there's nothing you can point to and say, wow. And I should also mention that as of Monday this week, it's been confirmed by Jailton Almeida's manager that he'll be moving back down to light heavyweight. Now, sure, that opens up space at heavyweight, but the problem with Almeida still exists. Whether he's at heavyweight or light heavyweight, is he going to continue suffocating guys without capitalizing? Just moving weight classes doesn't fix that aspect of him. He might win more fights, but can he win back the fans? Because I'll be honest, I was on the Almeida train. I thought he was a legit contender at heavyweight compared to all the other slop in the division. I thought he was good for it, and maybe he still could be. But that's what this past weekend was supposed to prove, and it didn't. At the end of the day, every division has highs and lows. Heavyweight is at a low right now, and flyweight is higher than it's ever been. The pendulum always swings back. Hopefully it happens this year. If not, then next. But I'll throw it to you, motherfunkers. Do you think the heavyweight division can realistically turn itself around without a star like Alex Pereira stepping in? Or is heavyweight officially past saving unless the UFC forces a reset? Please let me know. I'm not a hoe. Please let me know. I'm not a hoe. Dude, these lights are too bright. What's going on? I don't understand. I haven't changed anything. Right? Like, are they too... Let me tilt it off a little bit. I don't know if that made a difference. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the second segment of the day. God damn it, I can't wait to fucking eat. I can't wait to fucking eat today. Oh, it's going to be delicious. I'm going to eat so much fucking food. You're not even going to fucking believe it, dude. You're not even going to fucking believe it. Let's talk about the White House once again. We're going to be talking about the White House a lot, okay? Because it's going to be the biggest card of the year, if not in the decade. If not ever. Okay? We don't know. We don't know anything yet. Yeah, that's good water, baby. And maybe as I record this fucking podcast, news will be released, and then I'll have to upload the podcast and be like, oh, sorry, fuckers. Yeah, you guys had to release the news right as I'm uploading. Anyway. According to Ari Emanuel, there are only going to be 6 or 7 fights on the White House card. Let me just crack my neck for a sec. Oh, yeah, that's the stuff. That alone is wild. Not only is that way off from a normal UFC card, it's also way off from what I originally predicted. But that was always expected. I said from the beginning that I'd be adjusting this card as we go, and that's exactly what I've done for this episode. Now, on top of that, Dana White himself said that the boys are getting together and they're matchmaking the White House card today, Wednesday. Which, by the way, is exactly what he said after UFC 324, so we'll see. It's hard to trust anything that man says nowadays. But time is crunching. We're getting real close. We still need to get through May, and then June is right there. Honestly, I'm starting to feel like this is going to be a UFC 300 type of situation all over again. Expectations are sky high. It's probably not going to go the way anyone expects. But in the end, it'll deliver, and we'll look back on it fondly. The big difference this time, though... excuse me. The big difference... oh my God, stop burping. The big difference this time, though, is that we haven't really been promised anything. With UFC 300, Dana was out there telling us it was going to be the greatest card of all time, stacked from top to bottom, and to be fair, it was. But leading up to it, we got disappointed over and over again. By the time the fight week rolled around, expectations were actually pretty low. Then the event happened, and everyone walked away feeling absolutely incredibly satisfied. Dana currently is still the face of the UFC as the main promoter, but at this point we all know he's barely involved in matchmaking or production decisions anymore. So when Dana goes on media tours talking about the White House card, all we're really getting are tiny little trickles of potential information. The only solid answers we ever get from Dana are about who is definitely not going to be on the card. John Jones, one of the biggest draws ever, is untrustworthy, and Dana isn't giving him the opportunity. Michael Chandler, as great of a guy as he is, and as well as he's treated the UFC, is old news, according to Dana, and definitely is not fighting Conor. Jorge Masvidal? Nope. Nate Diaz? Nope. Any Russian fighter on the roster? Nah. So basically, almost everything you'd expect to bring massive attention to what could be the biggest UFC event ever is just not happening. Which honestly is pretty on brand for the UFC. But I think it'll be okay. I really do. Let's jump back to the beginning of this segment, though, because Ari Emanuel saying there are only going to be 6 or 7 fights is the most important piece here. First off, who is Ari Emanuel? Well, he's the CEO and executive chairman of TKO, the company that owns both the UFC and the WWE. He was on a podcast recently and dropped a little tidbit of information, which I have the vidya here, and we are absolutely, posifruitly going to watch it. Me and you, the boys in the back. We got ourselves some crack, and we don't want to come on our backs.
House, I think it's 3,000.
Yeah, 4,000.
4,000.
Intimate.
Yeah.
South Lawn.
So
Intimate.
And then there'll be in other areas. And Dana's working on it right now. There's going to be approximately 6 to 7 fights. June 14th?
14th, yes.
14th.
Flag Day and our president's birthday. No, just coincidence.
So we don't. He hasn't said to us.
I like it.
He hasn't said to us what the card's going to be, but I know they're working pretty hard at it right now.
Okay.
At the White House,
6 or 7 fights. Flag Day, which just so happens to be Donald Trump's birthday. Not a coincidence. No, not at all. Anyway. So he says approximately 6 or 7 fights. But what does that actually mean? Does he mean 6 or 7 fights total? That's what everyone is assuming right now, and when you think about it, it actually kind of makes sense. They're fighting at the White House. It's a celebration of America's 250th birthday, even though it's not on that day. It's on Trump's birthday. There's only so much time you can realistically hold at an event like this. It's at the White House. And because it's at the White House, there are going to be more eyes on the UFC than ever before. This isn't just hardcore MMA fans. This is a global spectacle. At the very least, the entire country is going to be watching. And those people don't want to sit through early prelims, and a full 5-fight main card. They want the goods. Just give them the Golden Gate fights. Honestly, that's exactly what it should be when you really think about it. This White House card never should have existed in the first place. It's kind of a miracle that it even does, assuming it still happens as planned. So yeah, trim all the fat. Give the world banger after banger. 6 or 7 fights is basically just a main card anyway. So the picks I have right now are absolutely temporary. Absolutely temporary. I cannot specify that enough. The picks that I have right now are absolutely, positively, 100% temporary. But my mindset is simple. I'm not thinking about what fans want. I'm thinking about what the UFC would do. Because those are two completely fucking different things. As much as I don't think Jon Jones is coming back, I still want to believe it's possible. I do think Alex Pereira has to fight for the vacant heavyweight title. Aspinall is getting stripped. I can fucking see it now. So if Jon versus Alex... sorry. If it's Jon versus Alex... that would be your main event. Now, if Jon Jones doesn't make it back into the UFC, and if it's Alex versus Ciryl Gane for the vacant heavyweight title, which, by the way, makes me cringe to even say, but if that's the case, that will be the co-main event. The only fight I feel completely confident about being on that card is Gaethje versus Topuria. That's either your main or co-main. Now, if Conor does come back, it truly doesn't matter who you put him up against. Ruffy would be incredible, but honestly, just get him on the card. Is that going to happen? Probably not. Harrison versus Nunes feels like a given, but it all is based off the assumption that Harrison's neck heals in time. Okay? O'Malley versus Sandhagen makes all the sense in the world to me. Put it on the card. And now, even though Michael Chandler is not fighting McGregor, he's still an exciting All-American wrestler. Throw him on the card. And why not against Sal Kild, an up-and-comer who needs to get ranked? Chandler's fallen low enough in the rankings, but he's still a draw to a massive audience. Put those two fuckers together. All right? Covington versus Nickal. There's beef. They're both Trump guys. Both All-American wrestlers. They hate each other. Love Trump. Trump loves them. Line them up. Put them on the card. Bada boom, bada bing. And to kick off the night, why not do Gable Steveson? Let him make his debut on the White House card. Okay? And put him against one of Trump's other favorite fighters, Derek Lewis. Now you've got an American in every slot. No guarantee the Americans win. I don't know if the UFC wants America versus America, or Americans positioned to win, or if they don't care at all. But as a starting point, that's where I'm at. And yes, I understand. You guys are going to absolutely fucking trash everything that I just said, as you did the last time, and I don't care. That's the reality of matchmaking before anything is announced. Almost nobody will agree with you, no matter what picks I did. Even if they make all the sense in the world, even if they were 100% accurate to what the UFC is actually going to pick, I'm still going to get shit on about it. So I don't care. So I'll throw it over to you, guys, gals. Who do you think should be on the White House card? And who do you think the UFC is actually going to put on said card? Don't think like a fan. Think like the UFC. What do you actually think they're going to put on there? Let me know. In the comments, let me know who you think they're actually going to put on the card. Not who you want, but who you think they're going to do. All right? Now we're just going to go over some other schmooze. Okay? There's rumors floating around. It kind of seems like, again, Ruben's throwing shit around again. He's saying Dricus du Plessis versus Brendan Allen is officially signed for UFC 327 in Miami, Florida. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen, okay? It hasn't been officially announced yet, but I can absolutely see that being the case. And then he's also said Khamzat Chimaev versus Nasruddin Imavov is targeted for UFC 328. That also makes sense. I could easily see that shit happening. All right? We got some Muhammad Mokaev news. He has, let me show you here. Muhammad Mokaev has revealed he's been offered a UFC BJJ bout against Mikey Musumeci. Fucking deadly, dude. All right, we all want Mokaev back into the UFC. We saw how good of a boy he's being, and he just keeps winning. The guy can't stop winning, okay? Actual great contender for the flyweight division, which, by the way, is stacked as it is. But get him back in there. Make it more stacked. I think he can potentially beat... I don't know. I don't even know if he could beat Pantoja, but I think he could beat Van. And I think it'd be a great matchup against Pantagi. All right? He already beat Manel Kape, and that's what got him fucking cut from the UFC with his shenanigans. All right? But I think them putting him, or at least offering him a match against Mikey Musumeci at a UFC BJJ competition, I think that's the UFC's way of saying, hey, man, okay, why don't you trickle yourself back in here? Tickle your little tonsils a little bit. Sneak your way back into this part of the UFC, and if you do good here, maybe we'll put you back into the MMA side of things. Huh? Now, Mikey is fighting soon. Well, do you call grappling matches fights? I don't know. He is well, is jiu-jitsu considered grappling? I don't know. But Mikey has a match coming up, and he's got the fucking Dagestan beard going on. I love this boy. He's a funny cat. Very funny. It's also been confirmed that Ian Garry and Carlos Prates both have announced that they have started fight camps, with fights booked for the spring. Neither of them have announced anything yet, but it's either going to go like something like Carlos versus Michael Morales, Ian Garry versus JDM. There is a slight chance that it could be like Carlos against JDM, Ian Garry against Michael Morales. You know, they're not going to do Ian Garry and Prates 2. They already did that. So it'll be I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere in that mix-up. Or maybe they will actually give Ian Garry Islam Makhaev. But I don't know if they're there quite yet. But we'll see. Chonko, fucking John Pork himself, has a match confirmed against guess who? Mateusz Rębecki. That's going to be, I'm assuming, a bang-tastic fight. How could it not be? We finally get to see the old pork boy do his thing in the UFC. We've seen clips of him do in other organizations. We've seen clips of him in training camps with Islam. We've seen him on the Contender Series. But they're feeding him Rębecki right off the bat. That's nautical. They have a lot of faith in this boy. And the thing is, you would think Chonko, having trained with the Khabib team, with the Nurmagomedovs, with the Muslim Brotherhood, that he would be more of a grappling boy. But he actually has a strong history in Muay Thai. He's a great Muay Thai fella. So, because that's the case, we know Rębecki loves to stand and bang. So I'm imagining this is going to be one of those wars. This is going to be like the war that we saw when Rębecki fought Orlobay. Remember those two on UFC 307. What was it? Why am I forgetting this? Was it 308? It doesn't matter. But we'll see. And when does that happen? Oh, it's lined up for 328. I guess that one's not confirmed either, but how could it not be? They need to get Pork Boy in there. What else we got? Usman, Nurmagomedov, another Nurmy. He just keeps winning in the PFL. Won again recently. He's got one fight left on his contract. If he doesn't fight, if he doesn't get that one fight, his contract does expire at the end of 2026. So either way, by the end of 2026 or even beforehand, Usman Nurmagomedov is going to be a free agent. So I'm assuming we're going to see this motherfucker come to the UFC. Unless the PFL decides that they can offer him a big bag of money. But when you think about it, the Nurmagomedovs aren't about money. They don't care about the money. You know what they care about? They care about legendary status. Okay? So I'd imagine he'd come to the UFC because that's where he'll gain that legendary status. He's already a legend in the PFL, and of course the PFL is going to want to keep him because they have nothing going on right now, and they're a sinking ship. Okay? They're the number 2. There's the UFC and then there's the PFL. And they're hanging on, and they're losing guys left, right, and center, and they're falling off the chopping block. Can they hang on? I don't know. But the way that they could hang on is if they keep guys like Usman on their side. But the problem is, the UFC is such a conglomerate, is such a mega giant. How can you compete with that? All right, he knows he can go over there and succeed better. But that's Usman. Most guys would take the bag. If Usman didn't have that mentality, okay, most guys would say, okay, PFL, give me the money. Here's what UFC is going to pay me. Can you beat that? And if PFL can say yes, then they can keep guys and grow them. But the problem with that is if that guy is big enough, the UFC can still know what's going on. They can figure out what the PFL is going to pay this guy. And then they can say, well, fuck, we can scarf up some more money. We have all the money in the fucking world. Okay? We'll pay you this extra. Get over here. So I think either way, they're fucked. There's also, now Kevin. We all know Kevin, right? Let me show you Kevin here. What's his name? The real Kevin K. Crazy Kev. All right, now this guy, when this guy says some shit, I believe it every time. This guy knows what's up. I don't know why or how, but this guy knows. I don't think he's ever been wrong. Now, he posted a post on the old X platform, and according to him, this is fucking fucked up. I hate even looking at it. I have confirmed Alex Pereira versus Nurmagomedov is in the works for a grappling match. What the heck? That doesn't even make sense. How and why and what the fuck? Would it be the same fucking organization that Armin fought Shara in? Or grappled Shara in? I don't even know, dude. I don't have a fucking fucked up clue, my guy. But let me just take a little scoundrel on the internet right now, see if there's any breaking news before we get into opening a pack of chards. Breaking news, Gable Steveson will make his UFC debut on the White House card. Look at this shit. Ruben just said it. Dude, did I not predict that shit right now? Now again, Ruben isn't 100% accurate, but fuck me. Wouldn't that be sweet? Okay. Tom Aspinall has revealed some post-surgery eye photos. Look at that. That's wackadoo. His eyes look worse than what they did when they were poked. All right, anything else we got going on here? People are making fun of Aspinall. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything. You know, we got Islam Makhaev saying that he's willing to fight Ilya, but nothing. Terrence McKinney's going to fight Kyle Nelson, another Canadian boy. That'll be nice. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. All right. So why don't we go ahead and open some fucking UFC cards? I'm excited for this. This should be nice. This should be wonderful. I've never done this before. And I don't even know how to open cards. I know there's a proper way to do it. But I'm just going to put this camera here. Or where should I put it? Hold on. Shit. How am I supposed to do this on 2 angles, dude? Does that look okay? And then I can... Wabadi wabada. That should be okay, right? Yeah. We'll try that. This is all a learning experience. For me and you. All right. Let's start with the first pack. Ooh, this is kind of exciting. Woo! Okay. I've got a nice little binder, a UFC fucking card binder coming too. All right. So, let me turn this fucking piece of shit camera on. I don't know why I'm cursing so much today. There, she's recording. Okay. Let's get all this trash out of the way. Look at that. All right. So let me get this mic up in here. Yeah, I'm going to show it. I'm going to show it to this camera here, and then I'll flip it up and show it to you guys as we go. Ooh, this is exciting. This is, oh my God, this is thrilling. I can't believe people do this. Well, I mean, I understand why people do this is what I'm trying to say. This is giving me chills down my fucking spine. So here it is. The 2022 UFC Chronicles trading cards. I don't know. I've never done this before. I don't know how to do it. Okay, let's... Is that the front of the card? Oh, no, that's the back. Okay. Oh, wow. Is that John Jones? Look at that. Okay, that's... Oh, wow. We got a John Jones right off the bat. Oh, yeah. We're still recording. I don't know how to do this. Do I flip it over? Okay. So we got a Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad right off the bat. Okay. There he is. Oh. I don't know if it's going to focus. I should hide these. Yeah, Belal Muhammad. All right. There we go. I'm pretty new to this. Okay. Put that off to the side. All right, then we got a fucking shitty Cyril Gane card. Woohoo! Cyril fucking Gane. God, it's not going to focus, is it? It's not even... Yeah, this would have been in 2022. Yeah. There it is. Cyril motherfucking Gane. Okay. What do we got next? Oh, Francis Ngannou. Woo! Francis. There he is. Yeah. Check this boy out. Oh, yeah. I guess, fuck, I gotta pay attention. It's not gonna fucking... Oh, whatever. Okay. Next up, we've got, ooh, a shiny boy. Oh, gross. Magomed Ankalaev holograph. Yeah, that's real disgusting there. Look at that. Yeah, oh well. It's Moggy. We don't mind Magomed. Can you see that? Look at that holograph. Oh, yeah. Yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Okay, next up, we've got... Oh, is this an Israel Adesanya? Come on. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. Izzy. Another kind of shiny boy. Not bad. Not too shabadocious. All right. And then we've got, what is this? A season ticket. What does that mean? Seat 55, row 125, section 67. What the fuck is this? Valentina Shevchenko, but it says like season ticket. Yeah, it ain't gonna load on the fucking camera. Oh, you know what? I think I can. I don't know why it's not letting me. I thought I could. Oh, look at that. Okay, I could probably re-show them to the camera now. That's what I gotta do from now on. Okay, and finally, another season ticket. What does that mean? What does season ticket mean? It's a John Jones. Oh, yeah, there he is. Jonathan Boner Jones. Okay. Seat 64, row 205, section 84. Let me just show you the rest of these now that I've figured out how to fucking... I can pause this. Bye! Alright. Move this out of the way. So this is the Israel Adesanya here. Oh, yeah. Look at that. I could probably zoom in a little bit. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Izzy. Flip it around here. Yeah, there's Izzy. Here's the Ankh. Wow. Little Ankh boy. Nice holograph. You know, I don't mind a good holograph, but like Ankh alive? No, thank you. And then there's the back. Hopefully the other packs will have something more exciting. Oh, I can zoom right in. This is nice. Oh, yeah. Ankh. Here's the Francis Ngannou. It's pretty crisp. Zooming in this much. I didn't think it would be. Francis. Heavyweight champion of the world. And then shitty-ass Cyril Gane. The cheat. Not too shabadocious. And then Bilal Muhammad. Ooh. Wonderful. All right. Let me zoom back out here slowly. Whoop, too much. There we go. All right, folks. Well, I guess that's it for this episode of the Dynamite Gizmo Podcast. Outro music. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, please. And I'll be sure to see you in the next one. I'm so hungry, I can't even think right now. Bye!